Welcome to our house. This is the Screenplay Podcast. I'm your host, Evan Grennis, and with me as always, PGA Tour champion, Andrew Novak.
Yo, what's up? 1 week closer to the start of the season. We got a great guest on this week. Happy to talk a little bit more football. It is almost here, people.
Please get on YouTube, like, and subscribe at Screenplay_podcast. We are trying to grow that YouTube page, so we would really appreciate the support if you guys get on there and give us some love. We are on socials at Screenplay_podcast, and you can also check out our website, thescreenplaypodcast.com. On there, you can find our picks of the week, merch, guest list, and more. New episodes every Wednesday, 8 a.m., wherever you stream podcasts. We are also running our annual Screenplay Podcast Survivor Pool. It is our way of having you guys play along with us. $0 entry fee, $250 cash to the winner. Sign up link is in our Instagram bio or on our website. Pick one team every week. If you're correct, you move on. If not, you're out. No revives. Last year, we crowned a champion week 14. Again, $0 entry fee, $250 cash to the winner. Sign up link is in our Instagram bio or on our website. This is our NFC East and NFC West preview episode. To help us kick it off, we have sports, comedy, content creator, and San Francisco 49ers fan. You can find him on socials at HS Marken. Please welcome Henry Marken. Henry, how you doing?
Well, hello. How we doing, fellas?
Great to have you on. We appreciate you taking the time to come on the Screenplay Podcast, talk some content, talk some 49ers fans. I'm going to start this off with a famous quote that a lot of people know. It's from Ricky Bobby. I just wake up and I piss excellence. That's how I feel about Henry Marken. When you wake up, the content you post is absolutely grand. It's hilarious. Is it something you have to work at, or do you just wake up and be able to produce crazy, funny content?
Well, if you ain't first, you're last. So, there's nothing better than just waking up and absolutely filling a cup full of piss of excellence. So, I shoot for first, and if I don't get it, then it's shit last. Yeah. So I wake up and I do exactly what you do. I go to ESPN. I see what's cooking. I see what Stephen A's yapping about that morning. Whatever. So could we be talking about today? And then I just get to work.
Now you do a number of characters. Joker, Chris Collinsworth, Luka, Jokic, Sean McVay. There's many more. I can't even name them all. Out of the characters that you impersonate, you do impressions of, which one do you find the easiest? What comes most naturally to you? And which one's really hard that you really got to work at?
Oh, that's an excellent question, Evan. This is unfortunate, but the easiest one is probably the Joker.
Oh man, for real.
Yeah. It's so easy. I mean, I've had that impression down, what I consider down. The impression that you see, whether you like it or not, it's been like that quality since I was 9 years old. Yeah. Like when
That's
The Dark
insane.
Knight came out, I was like, well, you know what? You know what I noticed is that these guys, nobody knows a thing about me. I had that figured out when I walked out of the theater. I was like, I'd love to see Heath in more movies. Like, oh no, he passed away. It's like, oh, okay. So, I was just sort of stuck with this really dark Joker impression as a 9-year-old at elementary school. You can't really do that at recess and be like, you want to know why I use a knife? Guns are too quick. Like I couldn't really do this as my show and tell in second grade. So I had to kind of sit on that until I guess it was age appropriate. I started doing that more in high school and college, and people, I guess when people really started cranking out, watching Dark Knight on Netflix after they come back from the bars, and they really appreciate. I mean, that's the perfect movie, So people are really starting to appreciate the Dark Knight more because they can watch it. And I come into the room, come into the fraternity house like 2 a.m. I'd scare the shit out of my buddies who were hammered, and I'd put on some makeup, and I'd be like, "You want to smile more?" I've had that forever.
It's crazy.
So,
I mean, yeah.
So it is you putting the makeup on. You do that yourself every time. How long is that process?
Well, my producers, Andrew, he's tied up. There's another Andrew. Andrew is tied up over
That's
here.
a good name.
He's my producer. Yeah. He watches. You all right over there? Yeah, he probably needs some water. But I usually do everything myself. The makeup, I have to do about 10 minutes of just kind of getting the vocals down. My girlfriend hates the Joker impression. It's her least favorite of all my bits because there's this, we'll call it 10 to 15 minute period before and after where I'm still method. And she's like, okay, this sucks. No one's having any fun with you being the Joker. And I also destroy the bathroom. I absolutely tattoo our bathroom every time I do it. It's just the bathroom sink is just the rainbow.
I tried showing my girlfriend. It's crazy. I tried showing my girlfriend your Joker videos, and she lasted about 5 seconds. And she's like, "That's too scary. Like he's too good at it. I don't want to watch it anymore."
It's not a good party trick. That's the unfortunate part is like it resonates. If you really like the movie and you're like a diehard Joker fan, you're like, oh, that's great. But for everyone else that was creeped out by how good of a performance it was, if I resonated well, it means that I'm probably giving you some sort of ick. So again, it's not like I can't. The show and tell it has very minimal stock value in show and tell right now. So that's probably the easiest one, definitely.
What's the hardest one for you?
Romo, for sure. And it's just physically exhausting because when like all those sounds that you channel, it's very similar to every sound I make if I'm ever fighting for my life on the can. Like that, it's the same like heart pressure, energy. Like you feel like everything in your chest is going to explode. If I do Romo and Collinsworth in a bit, I do the Collinsworth side first because I feel like, okay, I can just I got that down. I can just cruise through his lines. I mean, this guy, like you can kind of like weasel your way in there. Now here's a guy I just love, but then the Romo stuff,
it's so good.
It really hurts to do Romo. You have to scratch the shit out of your vocal cords. And Romo's got like 3. I really hope he gets back in the booth. Obviously, don't condone what he did, but man, football's so much better with Romo. I'm in a minority, I feel at times when I say stuff like that. A lot of people don't like him predicting plays or drawing on the screen. I guess I love that shit, but the Romo stuff is like, here we go, Jim. You have his like calm, like him calm is just, but then like he really freaks out if there's like a play they're reviewing and he's not quite sure. Like I always kind of go back to how do you get to the Romo? And I gave like one of my videos, I gave a how-to video, how to sound like Romo. And you just take your fingers, you pinch your back fat really hard and give that sound, and then make sure that your eyes never open and your head's always kind of moving on its axis, and make sure that you're never sure. No matter what you're going to say, it's nothing certain. I don't know, Jim. And no matter who you're talking to Jim. That's the whole point. So that's Romo. Hard. Very exhausting.
I was going to ask you to do a Chris Collinsworth on the podcast. You kind of went into it. Could if I said to you right now, you're Chris Collinsworth, Chris, Brock Purdy just scrambles for a 10-yard gain. How would you go about that?
Oh, I mean, is that not something we see every single day in Kansas City? Right there. I mean, that's the reminiscence of Patrick Mahomes. He must have picked up on something every time Mahomes beats him in the Super Bowl. Man, I just can't wait for another rematch in February where we once again crown Mahomes title over Purdy. It's just the greatest game story ever told. And there you go.
It's unbelievable. You had the chance to meet Chris Collinsworth. I don't know if it was this year or last year. I saw you also had the chance to meet Steph Curry. What's it like meeting Steph Curry and having him say that he watches your content?
So it's all downhill from here. That is what we refer to as peak. And once you hit peak, you just go down the mountain, and in order to get back to peak, you have to climb up that exact mountain. That was probably it. I've I have very few people that I look up to in the same light as Steph Curry. I grew up in the Bay Area. I mean, for I guess everyone that grew up watching 2010 to 2000 now Warriors basketball, like Steph Curry is God in the Bay Area. I mean, that is God. Relatively untouchable, perfect person, incredible basketball player, top 5 in every list, right? Champion, sweet dude, handsome as hell, can talk, charismatic, has no haters. And for someone like me, I feel like I have a very, I have a, I have a very polarizing approach to how to, I guess, if I'm going to, if you're in one of my videos, there's a chance that it's A, because I can impersonate you, or B, it's because I somewhat look like you. And I have the damnedest feeling that sometimes it's not necessarily a compliment at first, but like no one's ever asking me, hey, can you do an Anthony Edwards impression video? It's like, not really. No, I can't dunk from the free throw line. I'm not the most athletic guy you've ever seen, but I can do a Pat Spencer. Like, all right, I can kind of connect the dots here. But seeing Curry in person, anytime you see Curry out in the wild, it is like seeing a unicorn. I mean, he just glides. He glides. And the fact that, he stopped and pointed at me, knows me by name, that, yeah, that's it. That's peak. That's all. And I'll be however successful I'll be forever is a cool conversation I get to watch unfold for the rest of my life. I don't think I'll ever fangirl as hard as I did. I think, yeah, it was this year. It was in February when that happened. That was peak for me.
So would Signetti count as maybe another peak if you could get that one done?
Okay, Signetti is an interesting one because he's relatively new in my life, right? For those listening, I'm an Indiana Hoosier
Burning brightly,
graduate.
though.
Right. Yes. So that is a new role model, but I guess I wish I was able to enjoy. It's not like I'm not enjoying Indiana winning the national championship. I have said from the day after they did it, they've met my personal quota for Indiana sports forever. They could never, all sports, basketball, football, baseball, women's tennis, they could never win a title again. And I'll be a proud Hoosier Athletics fan. Like, and never will ever shit on them or throw shade in any direction they're near because of what they did in football. That is, without a doubt, one of the greatest turnarounds in sports. I have one request, and I wish I was a student while he did it. And I just feel like, as an alumnus, out in the wild, what it would have been like to be on campus during that. Because I already know how special it was for me just as a regular person out here in Los Angeles, watching from afar. I did go to the Rose Bowl. That was about as close as I got to him in person. But yeah, I think if he wins like 2 or 3 more, then I think he's probably up there with Curry. But he's so new in my life. I've known him for 2 years as a fan. Second year he wins a title. Yeah, he's climbing the list aggressively fast. But no, he's not up there with Curry yet. He needs to do more, and we need to spend more time together because
it's the
there was a lot of
longevity
time
of it.
with.
I mean,
There
Curry
was a lot of time with Curry before we were winning. We were losing. Remember, the Warriors were a lottery pick team for a few years, and then we turned it around, and then we couldn't get past the Clippers, and then we couldn't get past the Spurs, and then we started printing championships. So we need to do time together, me and Signetti. We need to lose together too.
The last impression character I want to ask you about, it was the World Cup this summer. So obviously you produced a ton of World Cup content. Some of the stuff you posted with Willie Goat, the referee, the NBA referee, and the soccer referee, that's all-time stuff. It was absolutely hilarious. A lot of Erling Haaland content. Do you ever find yourself wearing that Erling Haaland wig just around the house?
Yeah, I do a lot of OnlyFans content with it on. And it's it doesn't sell. I tried to do too much with that wig, and everything kept coming back to though that's just Erling. I bought the wig because it felt to me relatively multi-purpose, and I was like, oh, I could do Thor videos, I could do I don't know, any Fabio or whatever character came to mind, or anybody that had relatively long hair, long blonde hair, maybe George Kittle too. And I got so I got so like cemented in with that bit of Holland. I mean, those videos, the worldwide reach of the World Cup, obviously in the name, is unbelievable. I've never had a bigger, I guess, I've never had a bigger collective reach for my audience in a month than when I did during the World Cup. That was over 100 million views in less than a month just from those Holland videos. The Holland videos alone was 100 million views, and people were really confused like I had all these followers come in from Norway and the UK because they're like, "Oh, this guy does really good Holland stuff," or "This guy makes funny Holland stuff." I don't know if it was good, but I think it was interesting at least. And then they go to the rest of my content. They're like, "Well, this other stuff sucks. I don't know. I hate that. What is? Who is this Chris Collinsworth guy? No thanks." And so it was a kind of a bummer because I was so. I guess I fell in love with Holland and doing this content. Like I was just like, yeah, I just started walking around the house thinking like, well, this should go for 10 million views. Like it has to. Like what if 5 million views, that's a bummer. like I got so cocky from the World Cup. Everything was just elevated. And then the second that, soccer fever sort of got, I guess it started to chill out here, and only the true soccer and true football fans around the world still kept up with it. It just wasn't the same. So well, anyway, long story short, I used the wig for a few other videos, and they're like, "No, that's Erling's wig." And it's like they couldn't even enjoy the video. They're like, "No, this doesn't look right. This belongs in a Holland video." It's like, all right, dude.
Well,
Thanks.
and
Just let me
and now he
try.
shaved his head, and now he shaved his
Yeah,
head, so the wig is moot at this
obsolete.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. Yeah, I saw him do that, and first of all, I was like, "What a good looking dude." My God, like that is a good looking cat because he had his thing going with his long hair, but then it's kind of like when Thor shaved his head in the Marvel movies. You're like, "Oh wow." I mean, anybody, you look interesting with the long hair, but with an actual real person haircut, you're like, "Oh shit, hey, how, how's it going?" Wow, can I get you something to eat? He looks great. He looks great. For my girlfriend listening, he looks objectively great.
Yeah, I mean, Spain won the World Cup, but I would argue Erling Haaland won the World Cup. I mean,
Yes.
the content was just absolutely going off. Like his Instagram page, he must have gained 50 million followers plus worldwide from what was it, 2 or 3 weeks of just pandemonium here.
Yeah, and he just stayed on his phone too. I mean, the guy was a menace, like a borderline maniac. Just I mean, commenting on not just videos that were blowing up, but just like anytime his name was mentioned, I mean, he was just there. And then all these trends came up, and then I think they started to overdo it a little bit, where it's like Instagram is really cool because you could say, hey, some guy named Erling will comment nice no matter what you're doing. It's like, all right. I didn't need to see that from the Lowe's or the Home Depot. Like, I didn't need to see that, but not to throw shade at them. I don't even know if they did it, but you know what I mean. It was good times with Holland.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some San Francisco 49ers talk. You got your jersey on there. First off, I want to ask you about the substation. As a fan of the 49ers, does the community as a whole, do they believe in what the substation is doing, or do you guys kind of just think that it's a big hoax?
Well, unfortunately, Evan, this is actually your last podcast because I already talked with Andrew, and we have to sacrifice you to the substation when this is done. So get everything out that you want said because you will no longer be alive after. I mean, that's the rule. I have to. It's
I can already
sorry.
feel my shoulder kind of bugging me a little bit too, and so
Yeah.
it's got to happen.
You know what? I'm 29 years
Yeah.
old. I've seen countless number of Patriots world championships. So I've lived a good
Yeah.
life. I'm okay with it. I will sacrifice myself if that means it makes you happy.
No, not even to make me happy. It's just sort of a mandate. It's just almost like rent. I think
San Fran rent is out of control right now. So
yeah. Well, it is, and that is two things.
this is the new
be,
price.
Two things can be true: is the rent's out of control, and then someone also has to be sacrificed at the end of the month too, just so the team can, I guess, go to the NFC Championship. I do not believe in the substation stuff. I think it's a very I think it's a very fun thing to kind of all scapegoat and hate because it's not a person that we're all going after. Like it's not like somebody interrupted a foul ball in the middle of a very potential important Cubs playoff game, right? It's not like that, and we don't have to shun someone out of existence for the rest of his life. It is, however, a problem when you let, say, Twitter speak kind of take over the mindsets of like legitimate public figures. Like it's one thing if you have like just a known Twitter troll and he's just dominating the algorithm saying, yeah, it's the substation. And I've done years of research. I'm a sunlight specialist. And it's like, okay, well, you have 17,000 little acronyms in your bio. None of them say doctor. You're just a kook, you're, you're nothing. You're a speck, but I'll entertain it because it's Twitter. It's funny. It's not meant to be, doctors aren't going here looking for advice. So you go here for a laugh. But I do kind of go, ooh, when I see, I'm not going to say who, but well-established people refer to that as an actual reason for the Niners' demise. And it's like, okay, I mean, I could blame the tooth fairy being late too, like you fucking jackass. Like it's not the substation. The substation's interesting. I had a few videos where I actually played the substation.
They're
And the
good. They're good.
substation itself, for as great as we'll say, Silicon Valley is and innovation is, like the substation has gotten relatively no credit for sort of powering innovation for as long as it has. I mean, the substation it's not just there to take away Christian McCaffrey's ACL. It's there to provide power for the greater Santa Clara area. And I think the substation needs some more fans, more credit, because everyone uses an iPhone. Well, what do you think Steve Jobs did when he fired up the first Macintosh in his garage? You think he
Yeah.
you think he was on a bike, peddling electricity? No, the substation. Anyways, but
So we need
no.
less 49ers jerseys in the stands this year and more telephone poles. And
Yes, agreed. And
important
more. Yeah,
electrical infrastructure.
yeah.
I like it.
And I think we owe a big. We're sorry to the substation because God forbid if that were to. We see in movies all the time where like they go after the power plants. If that were to ever explode, good night to anybody working in Silicon Valley, California, anybody working in tech for a while. I appreciate the substation and I will not slander it. I will say what is a concern rather is probably how hard Niners practices are. And that has been something that has been discussed. You have guys from other teams that were former Niners that go on other teams, and they say, God, this is a lot more chill than Niners practice. It sounds like Niners practices are like hell. Just every week is just boys getting off the boat at D-Day. They're just going to war. And I think that's great for, creating in-game intensity, but it gets to a point.
To a point. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
But what do I know? I'm just a dude who buys the merch. What do I know about anything?
Well, we talked about Indiana a bit ago, so we're going to go into what do you know about Fernando Mendoza? How do you feel about him in his potential NFL career? I don't know. We're expecting him to start at some point in time this year, but we don't know when that'll be. How do you think he'll transition, say even this year and then going forward to the NFL? Transition to the NFL.
I don't know. I think everyone wants him to be really good. I think everyone is rooting for him. I think his interviews are getting. I think people are starting to catch on. I've followed him for a while before he was a Hoosier. I remember when he was at Cal, And
Mhm.
there was a lot of questions in the air, like, is this too much? Is this kind of corny? Does this feel cheap? Is this scripted? Is this just LinkedIn in real life? And then, he obviously kept doing it. And at some point, like, no, that's just who he is. It's his personality. I do think those speeches get stale if he's not winning. So for him to be the golden boy, like the walking LinkedIn hype message, if you're sucking, that's not a very good message anymore. But I hope he does well. I think it's better. I know we're not rivals anymore with the Raiders because they packed up and moved to Vegas, but I do think seeing the Raiders be somewhat competitive, it does bring back sort of what good football is. I don't like seeing some of these teams suck. I think on the NFL side, if the Raiders are interesting, I think that's kind of fun. If Texas is good, I think that's good for college football. If Nebraska is good, I think that's also good for college football.
It's been a while, but yeah,
I
that's
think
fair.
those kind of schools being
Mhm.
good, I think that looks aesthetically, it's
I
very
think
pleasing to me. You know?
I agree with that. I think there was something to Miami being good again last year that was kind of
Yes.
fun.
It just
Brought out a
feels
lot of
right.
haters. Miami and
Yes.
Notre Dame hating each other is always fun. So,
Yeah, and I hate Notre Dame, but like
oh, agreed.
what good is a movie with just a weak and forgettable villain? I think a good movie is only going back to The Dark Knight. A good movie is only as compelling as the villain. And so Notre Dame being good is awesome. Bama being good, that's awesome. Um, I don't really need to see the Chiefs be good anymore because we've seen that movie a lot, and I wouldn't mind gosh, I wouldn't mind seeing the Bills be so good that they become a villain. I think that could be kind of interesting, but like it's getting sad. It does get sad with some of these teams that never can pull it off, and it's just yet another Chiefs or yet another thing. And like the Patriots, for example, they were there. You go. They were good forever with Brady. Took what 2 years without Brady with the Mac Jones, Cam Newton. We're not sure. Then they rebooted again with May and 1-2 years in with the May project and they're back. You know, that's, I think, good for football that the Patriots being a villain, because I wasn't sure who to root for last year. Seriously. Because I didn't, I hate Seattle. I hate Seattle. I really do. I can't stand the Seahawks. I don't like the Rams. I've never really considered the Cardinals a threat, but the moment they're good, I'll hate them too. But I do like Sam Darnold. How can you not? It's just a great underdog story. So seeing Sam Darnold win a Super Bowl, it doesn't really have the same sting. But I did not want to see the Patriots win at all because
Yeah.
fuck them. I
Yeah,
mean, like they were right.
I get that. As a Patriots fan, we're just, it feels like the rich get richer, and it's not even the Patriots. It's, the Red Sox, the Celtics, the Bruins.
Right.
If one team
Yeah.
is not doing well that season, I can always be like, well, you know what? One of our other major four sports teams is going to win a championship this year. I'll be okay.
Yeah.
And
Congratulations.
and so, I feel a little bad saying that, but I get it. Henry, finish this sentence for me. The 49ers will be successful
Yeah.
this year if
I think the 49ers will be successful if they beat the Rams. I think whoever wins that game, I'll say this: the 49ers will be successful this year if the Rams interesting travel strategy. I think if going to Australia the day before the game just proves to be insane, and the boys are tired. If they're tired on the field, I think the Niners are in for an outstanding season because whoever loses that game, that is a bummer to come home. That is just a nightmare. You gotta get back to.
Yeah.
I mean, any travel time from Australia, the jet lag is atrocious, but you then have to like rally again and play another NFL team in like less than a week. That's disgusting.
So do you agree with the San Fran strategy of going early? I know there's been a lot of discussion on this, like San Fran strategy versus LA strategy, but do you kind of agree
Yeah,
with
I
going
can't.
like a full week early?
Obviously the Rams must know something we don't, but I can't get behind that. I every time I try to wrap my head around it, somebody explained it to me that it's almost like the Rams are just going to sleep on the plane. They're going to
Mhm.
sleep on the plane, and they wake up, and it's pretty much like they go to the field and they're playing a night game. That's what it's like.
Mhm.
So they never really feel jet lagged. If anything, they're just a little tired, but that's it. And I guess that makes a little bit of sense, but then you're playing tired. And you shouldn't be tired because it's week. You should be the most fresh you'll ever be because it's week 1 of the NFL season. So I just
I
don't.
think
I don't understand it at all.
I think like kind of what I was hearing, like the way the Rams are doing it is like less risky for week 2 because they'll be able to get back on normal schedule faster. Where San Fran, they're fully changing their time zone, and then they're gonna have to switch back.
Yes.
So maybe they're risking 2 weeks versus 1, but like it's a major division game. So like I also kind of get it.
Yeah. I mean, pick the one team you don't want to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
It's the 49ers. I mean, as if we didn't have a science fiction novel of events in our offseason already. We gotta kick things off in Australia week 1 and find a substation down there, I'm sure. I think if the 49ers beat the Rams, the 49ers are going to have an outstanding year. If the 49ers lose to the Rams, I don't know. But I'm pretty certain they're going to beat the Rams because they have to. It is such an important game. I saw a tweet that the Niners are treating this game like it's a playoff game, and the Rams are treating this game like it's a preseason game. And I think that lines up right with your thought, where if they lose, it's like, okay, well, at least we're just 0-1. We just get back to work. Our bodies are fine. It's just a long flight home, something like that, which is crazy because every game counts in division, and this division is just a gauntlet.
Yeah.
I do think, I'm sure you want to ask me a question about what happened with Jed York. I'm assuming that's top of mind.
I have one down here.
Okay. So that was, as crazy as this sounds, and whatever you believe in as it relates to the substation, or, you know, if something has to happen with this team, if they truly are cursed, that is such a non-issue for the actual gameplay. I mean, with all the injuries, and you're seeing guys like Genty in their knees and everything's exploding, and we have Mike Evans, and every day is like a spin the wheel. What did he hurt today? And the fact that the owner was just getting up to some, we'll call it really weird, nefarious behavior, but it does not affect. No one was hurt, which is a huge win. If that's the bad news of the day, because the owner is going to be fine. Like, it's a pretty interesting moment in his life, I'm sure. And there's probably going to be some ripple effects in his personal life. But like in the grand calculus of a billionaire's life, you can kind of make this disappear if you really wanted to. An injury, you cannot. And this team does not need any more injuries. So it kind of is a non-issue, to be honest with you.
Look,
it's so weird and strange. And it's like, of course it would happen to the 49ers at this point. It's just part of the script.
You're preaching to the choir here, too. I mean, you got a Patriots fan right over there, and I mean, the winningest owner of all time. We know what he got popped for. So
Yeah,
Right.
Robert
maybe
Kraft,
he's just trying to follow the script. You know, this is how you win titles.
Ask Bob Kraft this, like, has your life changed at all? He'll probably be like, what? As he's getting another one. You ask him while he's going to get another one. He's like, just a minute. I'll be out in 5 minutes. Oh, like it's such a non-issue for these guys. They're like billionaires are on a different planet than us. Like this kind of stuff doesn't affect them. We had to pay $1,000 in fines. He's probably going to feel some sort of humiliation, but he can just escape to his super yacht or wherever and go hang out in the ocean for a minute, and then he'll be fine. That's it. He'll be fine. There's no repercussions. There's no nothing. Meanwhile, we didn't get hurt, which is huge. That's all I care about at this point, and no one getting hurt. We're back. I'm all in. I think
take that trade-off.
I think this is a Super Bowl team. I do.
Yeah, you made a absolutely hilarious video. I don't know if it was yesterday about it being Kyle Shanahan, seeing that no injuries happened, and then that news popping up of Jed York. Great video on the situation. I really enjoyed that one. Last question here. Give me your predictions, NFC West final standings after the season.
Okay.
Last year, Jason Schulroff came on and he said Bears are winning the division, and they did. So turned out good for him.
Yeah,
Give me a
but you know
prediction of
what?
the NFC West.
He says that every year. He
He
says
does
that
say that
every
every year.
He said he's an idiot. He doesn't know anything. He's actually what Bears fans grow up to be. If I'm a kid and I'm a Bears fan, when I grow up, I want to be Jason. That's and then they. I mean, he's a great. I love that guy so much. He's one of my favorite people on this earth. But he's stuck in a washing machine of Bears mania, and it's gonna happen even harder this year because I know you asked me about the Niners, but I'm gonna give you this Bears prediction. Caleb Williams winning MVP is probably going to be a topic of conversation for, we'll call it 3 or 4 weeks in the season. And the Bears probably will be a favorite to win the Super Bowl, favorite to win their division, just out of pure excitement alone. And something is just, I had a vision. My girlfriend is a Chicago native, and she was telling me she's never talking about sports, but she's like, I have a good feeling about the Bears this year. And I was like, do you? And I think Bears fans are in for a cataclysmic season, and it would be such a bummer because of how good they could be. I mean, you have Ben Johnson sleeping in the office during the summer. And no idea how his kids and wife feel about that, but this is a good team, and I think the Bears are going to let their fans down harder than they've felt in a long time. Because it's one thing to suck and stay sucky. You're just sort of like I mean, you're just at sea level shit, nothing. But to actually go up in the clouds for a minute and then to be yanked back down, that's
It's
gonna
the
hurt so bad.
expectations. It's the
Yes.
expectations that make it so
Yes.
much
Okay.
worse.
You want to hear about my NFC West? I got you. I think the Cardinals will only end up playing 4 games this year, and then they're going to have to forfeit the other. Every game the Cardinals play after week 5 is just going to come up NA. So it's a guaranteed win for the opponents. So that's four games, and then NA. And then there may be each game after might be like a charity event. It's like the Jacoby Brissett Foundation game, and then the Carson Beck Foundation game. They're all just going to be events after week 4. So what is that? We'll be in October, and it's going to be charity events. Each game's going to be a charity event. And then the last game and near the end, instead of the game, they're just going to turn State Farm Stadium. They're going to turn that into just a watch party for Avengers Doomsday. That's what it's going to be in December. There are no more games. They're just going to rent out the stadium to make it watch parties. And then, how bands roll through stadiums during, off seasons? All of a sudden, like, bands are going to have tours. Like, comedians will be performing at the stadium. Like, Shane Gillis is going to pass through Scottsdale, like, mid-January, like week 16 or whatever, because it's like, oh, yeah, we don't have a game. We already, NA. So that's the Cardinals.
Okay.
In third place of the NFC West, I think is the Los Angeles Rams. I do. I think if you're a degenerative fella, if you enjoy the gambling side of life, I know I do. You should be taking every under of the Rams this year. I think that is a team that should have won it all last year, and they probably missed their window. I don't know how they bring everybody back and stay healthy. Like, Stafford is awesome. I love that guy. He's so cool, and he's got the rifle of an arm, but he had such a good year. He won MVP last year, but he stayed so healthy all year, and that's so uncharacteristic of him. Maybe things are different down here in LA. Maybe he has like a better connection with Buddha or somebody or the ocean, but way better than Detroit. But I just don't see that team staying healthy. God knows what's going to happen with Aaron Donald or Puka Nacua for that matter. Aaron Donald might play more games for the Rams this year than Puka, just out of the suspension alone. We don't even know if Aaron Donald's going to play. And I also think that the Rams being as close as they were last year, there is going to probably be a little bit of a hangover. That tends to happen with teams that are so close. Like, you see the Lions where they were so close, and then I think the Rams will have sort of a underperforming year this year. And I think the week one to Australia, I mean, they're not going to do that again next year. I think that's going to hurt them. Whoever loses in Australia is probably going to lose the next week too, even if they do follow that crazy, I guess, healthy recovery process. I'm giving the Rams at third place. Rams will probably have a good year next year, I think. I think the Rams will have a good year next year. I have no idea why, but that's what I'm saying now. Second place, NFC West, Seattle. And I think this is where we see Pumpkin Sam Darnold. I think he did. I think, and by the way, he'll retire with more Super Bowls than most. One, but I don't think it's impossible to go back-to-back in football. Or if it's at least not impossible, it's incredibly hard. It's a lot harder than baseball or even basketball. I just don't see it. And everyone is going to be hunting the Seahawks. You won your division. You have a first-place schedule. Every team that you dominated last year wants to do that to you this year, including the Niners. There's no one more pissed off to play Seattle than the Niners. And they got to play the Niners a lot of times last year. But 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Play the Niners 3 times. You play them twice in their goddamn stadium. No, that's not true. They played them once in the stadium. They played in their stadium twice because they won the Super Bowl in their stadium. So the Niners are pissed. Yeah, I bet you the Niners win both times against Seattle. I don't think the Niners lose a game in their division.
Wow.
I don't see it happening.
That would be impressive.
Yeah, I don't think they don't lose one game. People are saying they're going to split. People are saying they're going to lose in Australia. I actually could see them losing just a rogue game to Arizona just because of the charity event. And it's just like, well, because they don't play, they're like, well, we'll give you this game because of the Kyler Murray Foundation that he started 3 years ago. I know he's a Viking now. I don't see the Niners losing one game in division. In fact, I looked at their schedule. Do you want me to read you their wins and losses this year?
Sure, go for it. I got it up right here.
You got it up? Okay. So I have it right here as well. So Rams, Australia. I think we win. I also think that there's just a lot of flight trouble. The Rams won't crash, but there's probably going to be some sort of delay. And I bet you that somebody's going to lose Sean McVay at the gate. He'll pull like a Home Alone. They're going to lose Kevin before they even get to Australia. He'll be stuck in I don't know, like Japan or something, or New Zealand. I just don't see how the Rams are going to pull that off. I like
flying,
Niners win week one.
Delta? Like what? Are they flying Delta?
I think no, they're flying Frontier.
They hop on the plane and they okay.
They're flying Frontier. Yeah.
They got a couple stops.
They got to stop in Japan, which is actually
recheck
further.
The bags. Yeah.
They're going east to go west.
Right.
But they're going to do some time travel though, because that's cool about Australia is that they're going to be the first time travelers in the NFL. Okay, I got week 1 win in Australia. Week 2 win versus Miami. I've heard horror stories about Miami that players are already quitting.
I don't know how you can compete with $180 million in dead cap. It's impossible. The Dolphins are going to struggle for sure.
I hear Malik Willis can't rally people to get out of bed in the morning. I mean, I don't know that to be true, but that's what my Twitter science is telling me. Yeah, it's Miami. You're going to beat Arizona, charity game. I guess technically that's in September still, so they're still going to play before they forfeit all their games. Okay, I love this one. Week 4, we're hosting Denver.
Yep.
I never bought into the Denver Broncos hype. I think that's a great defense, and they probably play extremely well at home with the altitude, and Bo Nix is pretty hard to tackle. However, Bo Nix did hurt his ankle last year, and I know you need at least 2 ankles to be shifty. And so who knows how good the second ankle is. I like that. Go to Seattle, October 11th, you win that. Monday Night Football against Washington. I don't know. I think it's at 5:15. That's strange. I thought they would play at 6 or 4:15 out of respect for Jaden Daniels. I don't know why they play at 5. That seems rude. Oh, it's 5:15 my time. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll be. Oh yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. So it's not 5 o'clock everywhere. Although it is. No, you know what? It is 5 o'clock when the game starts. That's here in San Francisco. So yeah, that out of respect for Jaden Daniels, I don't know why they're playing
He'll
at
be
5:15.
fired up. Yeah.
Yeah. I could see them losing that one. Yeah.
He may hold out.
He either holds out or he has the game of his life. To put the respect back on his name.
True.
So that could be a loss. Then they go to Atlanta. golly, what a disaster over there. I mean, that's
Agreed.
Bijan's probably going to have an outstanding season. Who's throwing? Who's throwing the football? Who's making meatball subs back there?
Maybe him. Maybe him. But
yeah. And then you have a bye week. Okay, hot take. I think the 49ers somehow lose the bye week. So our only loss going into the bye week is versus Washington. They somehow walk out of the bye week with a loss. And I say that metaphorically speaking because just add it to the bill that this season is already. Somebody's going to have another prostitution ring busted or something terrible is going to happen during the bye week because that's what the script calls for. But then we're going to win against the Raiders, presumably against Mendoza. He's going to give a great speech, though, about losing being another lesson. Can't wait for that. Then Dallas, win. Always beat the Star. Minnesota, ooh, Brian Flores is tough. We always struggle against Minnesota. However, we don't really struggle against Kyler Murray. We win. Seattle win. At Giants win. Versus Rams win. Okay, here we go. Another loss. I think at Chargers.
At Chargers.
That's a sneaky loss, I think. Sneaky loss. Harbaugh's got us figured out. He knows the building. It's in L.A., but I just, something about that game. It's a short week. It's a Thursday night game after playing at home versus the Rams. So it's not like you get to stay in LA. You do have to travel. That just feels kind of weird and yucky. Purdy versus Herbert. Everyone always compares them to each other. And I feel like if Herbert has any sort of sense, he's like, well, I got to beat the guy that everyone thinks is better than me. Then we go to Kansas City. Yuck. That scares me too. Never beat the Chiefs. That's probably a loss. Then we host Philly. That looks like Sunday Night Football with, of course, the guy who I love to call. I bet you we beat Philly. And then Arizona, last game of the year. That's a charity game. It's a foundation game. So what is that? That's 4 losses, I think.
So if I got that right, that's 14-3.
Yeah, well, the bye week. The bye week too. That's
I think you had 14-3 there. You had
14 and 4. 14 and 4
with the bye week loss. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Correct.
All right, I'd say that takes NFC West 14 wins.
Yeah, that definitely does for sure.
Yeah, well, considering you beat every other team in the division twice. Yes.
Yeah. And by the way, I could be like, if they lose in Australia to the Rams, everything I just said is null and void. Because then you have to play. I mean, you have to play Miami. Well, I guess that is sort of a good home opener against Miami 10 days after coming back from Australia. So you're back on track. At least you're 1-1, 2-1, then going to Arizona. Yeah. But you can't lose in Australia. You need to win that game. Otherwise, that is a long flight home. My God. So dumb. I mean, it's cool, but
yeah,
like,
the NFL
it's
definitely tried to help
team.
out the Rams and the 49ers a bit. But
well, don't we have another game in Mexico too? We're going to Mexico this year as well.
You do, yeah. I don't know which game that is. But
probably
yeah.
prime time, some point. One of them.
Absolutely brutal schedule, travel mile wise for the Niners this year. I think it's the most traveled miles in the league.
Yeah, yeah, it has to be. I can't remember which game is in Mexico, but there is a Mexico game, and it's like, of course, give it to us. And our guys are probably going to be drinking the water there right out of the faucet. So it's like, Montezuma's revenge. Shit in their pants. But yeah, I think I have high hopes for the NFC West this year.
Builds character.
It does. From experience, it really does.